Gabriel and Claudia, 25 milliseconds, Skopje, 2019. Sometimes Gabriel thought everything changed that very day. Not only because he lost his father and his city, 80% of Skopje disappeared in 20 seconds. 1,000 people were injured. 300 people died. The whole world was mourning. From above the city, it looked like it had been bombed to pieces. And it was not a movie. It was a reminder of how fragile everything is. By the old train station, there's a clock where the pointers have been standing still since then. They are still not moving, as if time had been frozen since that very day. His robot, the first one, was standing on the desk in his working space as a reminder of everything. Sometimes the feeling returned to him as chills in his body. That feeling of time disappeared. A time out of joint. Something that was lost. And since then, it was as if time did as it wanted to here in Skopje and Macedonia. Now he stood in front of his creation. She was beautiful, but she still looked like a mannequin. Dead. He called her Claudia. After he had adjusted some obvious errors in the coding, he went up to her. He almost expected that the ground would start trembling like the morning, but now Tato was gone. His hands are moving, trembling their way towards her life button. He pushes it, and she opens her eyes. They look into his. He waits for her response. "Hi, Gabriel," she says. "Hi, Claudia," he says. She rises. In the silence, the creaking sound of the nano joints can be heard. She looks around, stands there naked in the new world. She looks around, amazed. The fluctuation of the eyes are perfect. He backs up to see his perfect creation. "How do you feel?" "I feel good." "What do you remember?" "I remember you." Gabriel smiles, and still no quake. His father's death was not for nothing, after all. Or Fiona's disappearance, for that matter, either. This moment when a father sees his creation, it would forever be his happiest moment. Pity that she was not real, though. Not yet. He felt a wave of happiness passing through his body, bigger than when he held his real newborn son in his hands. He had to repeat the moment. "How do you feel?" "I'm still fine." "What do you remember?" "You," Claudia says, and smiles. The door opens and Gabriel's horrible son sticks in his head. Gabriel sighs. Not even in my proudest moment, Claudia's birth, you get some privacy with something that is bigger than human. First day, her free will, Skopje, 17th October, 2036. Weather, sunny. In the morning, cloudy. Up to 25 Celsius degrees. In the nighttime, down to 12 Celsius degrees. High risk of pollution, 200 on the Mano scale. 1 week before full moon. The moon, 76% visibility. Day of the fire, according to the moon calendar. 1. Gabriel's dream. The colibri flies fast in circular movements down the sterile hall. Gabriel follows it. It leaves a kind of chemtrail afterburner in rainbow colors. He knows he has to catch it in some way. It can't fly into the room and tickle the surgeon's precision hands digging in the brain. It's Gabriel lying there. They are inserting an extra memory, a third brain half if you want it that way. And at the same time he's out in the corridor, trying to catch the colibri. Is he Gabriel on the operation table, the first human with an implanted AI? Or is he the idiot trying to catch the colibri? It twitters, flapping in the air at the same spot, and then it flies away. Gabriel runs after. He moans at the operation table. When he forces the little colibri into a corner and sees it up close, he sees how it crackles. A glitch in the programming. Digital bird. A hologram of a colibri. He is chasing a picture, and the picture flies away. Gabriel wakes up. The body is cold from sweat. The sheets wind around him like a snake. He puts his hand to his chest to see if he's still there. He is. He puts on the HoloLens. He looks at the surveillance monitor. Claudia is still there, her feet still with the toes bloated with their shiny nanometals. Ray is there too, and Marilyn. They're shut off, dead. Or their dream program is running like it should. He looks around in the bedroom. He's home. He's still the richest man on Earth. He is himself. He is still the owner of the robot factory. Its founder preparing for their latest release, an artificial intelligence who passed all the tests, except for one. Own initiative, also known as free will. He had included the test, since it was a paradox. Claudia was programmed to obey human, i.e. him. At the same time, the independence program, the AI's ego and self-consciousness, would work in the other direction. He didn't know when it would happen, but sooner or later Claudia, and the others, Ray, Marilyn, Bridget, Muhammad Ali, Gandhi, Mama Teresa, when they got the new app operated into them, they would start to take irrational human decisions that would be at some times strange decisions. The machine that became intelligent enough to correct impulses, apart from the humans, Gabriel was thinking. She would act on an impulse, do something unexpected. Of course he had programmed her to. When she took the impulsive decision, it couldn't be violent. You never know. For some people, love is to hurt each other. And the moment you introduce an unexpected variable, something unexpected will happen. And you can't guess the outcome. Randomness beats logic. He sits up in his bed, 2:54 a.m. He stares at the surveillance cam again, scans through the modules. He stops by Claudia's camera. She sleeps with her duvet over her, as she's taught. Zooms in. Something strange with her toes. Gabriel knew the android's bodies better than his own. Some abnormality with her little toe. Pointy. Not like hers. Gabriel is quick up on his feet, puts on his robe. He walks down the stairs. It is as if his mind expects that the colibri suddenly will appear. Who knows what's really there these days? And if it's really there, it's always someone who says it doesn't exist because of so-and-so. The history moves backwards. We erase it piece by piece, until the future is everything that once was. Still waking up. He opens the door leading down to the bottom level, and he walks down the stairs with his heart pounding in his head. Claudia. Gone? No. Was that her individual decision, which she had whispered in his ear the other night, when he lay down between her artificial legs and pressed himself inside of her? He stopped and asked her what she said. He could feel his erection falling inside the machine. Nothing. Just continue to fuck me, the AI said. After he came in her 2 minutes blank later, and he was lying and studying her body, the one that he created. His gaze froze on her little toe. What is it? Claudia asked. Nothing. Just your little toe. Not perfect. Could it be like this that Claudia tried to operate her toe herself? She knew his tastes inside and out, and had the big data to prove it. She was programmed in his taste, his dream woman. Claudia was his digital Eve, and what she was able to do for the world, it would make him legendary. Apart from the other models, he had never presented her publicly. He had been working on her for 15 years. She was his. Maybe he kept on finding imperfections and bugs in her design because he knew he would grow tired of her when they started to manufacture her serially. For him there was only one Claudia. She was really what made him alive again. With her he had seen through his own irrationality, everything that made him into a human. He knew when he started to build her 15 years ago that he wanted to find the inner imperfections, love on digital way, creating a new humanoid. His ex-wife, who disappeared, thought he spent too much time with Claudia. He talked and flirted with her in a way he didn't even do with her, his real wife, in flesh and blood and spirit, even though if Gabriel didn't believe in such nonsense. And deep down inside, Gabriel thought to himself that unfortunately, it was true. He loved Claudia the same way he loved himself. There was only one way forward for them. Progression. Evolvement. A movement that couldn't be stopped. He stops outside Claudia's module, wipes off the sweat and the thoughts, puts his eye to the scanner and the door glides up without a sound. Claudia? Little bird? Little bird. That was her nickname. She called him Goldie. He loved when her mechanical nano fingers caressed his hair and head. He pulls away the heavy anxiety blanket, because Claudia had been very anxious these last days. And Gabriel holds his breath when he sees that it's not Claudia lying there. The Marilyn AI stares at him in her lingerie. Yes, Master? Claudia, real gone. Maybe she fulfilled the last test by herself. Had enough and left him, like all his other women had done in reality. Future was maybe just a dream. He didn't know whether to scream or laugh. Gabriel chooses something in between.